Hello there. Right, I've popped on to update you on my trip to Jewellery Maker and how the show went and how the visit went, etc, etc. So I went on the 21st of December, so that was before Christmas. So as you can imagine, it's been heck of a rush since then with Christmas, and we're coming up to New Year now, so it's the 30th of December when I'm recording this. So hope you all had a nice Christmas, and I wish you all a very, very happy New Year. So where do I start? Right, well, before this bit, you've seen the kits that I was given and what I did with them, and I've got some photos, and I'll add those in as well. So let's tell you about the trip. It was quite an eventful trip. We went up on the 20th, we went the day before, as we always do, and booked into a hotel overnight. Excuse me, floppy hair. Yeah, we had a good trip up, booked into the hotel, got everything sorted out. I was very excited and very nervous, but in equal measures at this point. Excuse me. Then we went for a nice meal out in Stratford-upon-Avon, had a lovely evening, walked around the town, saw the gorgeous Christmas lights. I'll try and pop a picture of the Christmas lights on here as well, so you can have a look at them. So we did all that. So then we went back to the room, got tucked up in bed, went to sleep. 2:30 in the morning, bang, I was absolutely wide awake. Could I sleep? I got really nervous. I was panicking, and I don't know what I was panicking about, because everybody's so kind and so nice. But everything, you know what it's like, once it starts, everything was going through my head. So from I'd got to be there for 7 o'clock in the morning, so I was already having to get up about 5:15 to get myself showered and everything done, and to get there. Although saying that, the hotel we stay at is only, according to the sat nav, 6 minutes away from Jewellery Maker, so that's not too bad. That could be a lot worse. So what we did, we set off the next morning, having had no sleep at all from 2:30. So my eyes were stinging, my hands were shaking. By this time, I'd worked myself up into an absolute nervous wreck. Anyway, I got there, met Carol, met Tom Neary, who was producing the show. We went through a few things. I'd been asked to take some, I knew they'd got bezels, a showcase on cabochons, sorry, on the show, and I'd been asked to take up a few pieces just as a representation of what you can do with cabochons, and some pieces just for inspiration, really. So I'd got all that, and that was all set out for me. And yeah, all was going really well. I got my Christmas jumper on and everything was going really well. And Carol is such a star. She's such a lovely lady. She is very, very amusing. She's very kind, and yeah, everybody looked after me so well. But I couldn't get rid of these nerves. I got some of my stuff out ready for my demo. And they had told me about what time it was going to happen, but for some reason I'd got it into my head that they would have a break and I could get all my stuff out and shift everything around, and then I could get on my demo, but it didn't actually happen like that. So what happened was, they started the showcase of the cabochons, and I was given to work with 6 cabochons. Bumblebee, Jasper. How's that? Let's see if I can get a bit more light on. Actually, they're a lot nicer colour than that. Oh, that's run out of juice. Oh, let's see. Yeah, they're much brighter than they're showing up on the camera. But anyway, that's what I was given to work with. I was given a little bit of silver to use as a back plate. I was given some bezel wire And I had taken with me, this was quite a long, some twisted wire that I twisted at home. And it was about, I don't know, it was quite long. It was about that long when I took it with me. But I'm really glad I'd got it with me. So anyway, we're going through the show, and then it seemed like in no time at all, Carol turned to me and said, "Okay, do you want to get on with your demo?" or words to that effect. I said, "Oh, right, I haven't. Oh, I need to get my glasses out of my bag," and then I hadn't got my brush out for my flux, but I had got most other stuff, I think. But I showed how to wrap the bezel wire around the cabochon, and how to mark it and cut it, and then I showed how to get the tension in it so that the two ends went together and without a gap, etc, etc, you know the story. And I came to put it on my charcoal bar, my hand was shaking like this, and I said, and then I'm going to put some solder on the charcoal block, and then I'm going to put my bezel wire on top of that, heat it up, and then you know where I'm going. Could I stop my hands from shaking enough to get this bezel onto this solder? Oh God, I was absolutely mortified. And I don't know if you've ever experienced it. I watch, for those in the UK, I watch MasterChef quite a lot, and they do a professional show, and they have a challenge round where they take individually these professional chefs who work in Michelin star restaurants, and they take them into a room and they do a challenge. And when they're preparing their food, some of them get the real shakes. And I sit there on my sofa at home, all cosy and I don't know, with an attitude, thinking, why are their hands shaking? They do this all the time. They know what they're doing. Well, I know now. I know now. I could not. I don't know if you ever experienced it, but it's the most awful thing. And I knew the camera, well, I thought that I didn't look up, to be honest. I didn't dare look up. And then Carol said to me, "Would you like me to do it?" I said, "No, I know I can't. It's okay, I'll do it." Anyway, I managed to get it on the solder. Just fired up my torch, started doing it. The blood, because I'll show it to you, because of the state of my borax cone and dish, there was no way I was going to take that on the TV. So I got, for convenience, I took this with me, this little bottle of liquid flux, right? I thought I'm much easier, just stick it in my bag and off we go. So anyway, by this time I'd found my brush to get the flux, and the solder didn't flow. I don't know why. Who knows? I don't have that problem at home. But it's just like working in someone else's kitchen. It really is. You just feel so out of your depth. And I knew, of course I knew what I was doing. I do it millions of times a week. Not millions, but I do it a lot. Of course we do. We all do. So anyway, what happened was, because I was heating it up, the actual fine silver of the bezel actually fused together. So I said, oh, it hasn't flown. It hasn't flown, but it's fused, so I'm going to go with that, which is what I did. I mean, it was all crinkly because it was very near melting point, but I managed to sand it out and I managed to get it not looking too badly. And by this time, I don't know whether it was planned that they went off me at that point and onto something else, or if they just had enough of me faffing. I have no idea. But by this time, they were going on to something else. So I explained what I was going to do next, that I was going to get my back sheet and I was going to sand it and get it clean and sand the bezel, shape it round the stone and solder it onto the back sheet, and that was going to be what I was going to do next. So then Carol had to go over to another desk and do the deal of the day, so she went off there. So by the time we'd got to this point, I was then left at the desk quite quite on my own, really. They weren't, I don't think they were. Do you know, I'm so embarrassed by the whole episode. I haven't dared watch it back. So I have no idea when the camera was on me and when it wasn't. And I think it'll be a little while before I can actually watch it, I do have to say. So anyway, Carol comes back. She went off and did her deal of the day. She'd gone quite a long time. I'm not sure it was an hour, but it might have been. And by which time I'd soldered on my bezel, I'd cut that out. This is only 0.5. So I didn't even need to get my bench peg and my saw out. I used these, and I don't think I've ever shown you these before. These are my, what are they called? What's her name? Is it Joyce Chen? It might be Joyce Chen. It's these scissors. And I saw them on a YouTube video of a lady in America, and she just uses them all the time. So I used those to cut my bezel wire, but then I managed to use them to cut the back plate as well. So that was much quicker and much easier. So I did all that, and then I decided that it was looking a bit plain and it didn't look anything special at all. So I decided that I would put some of my twisted wire round the bezel, plus it would hide any holes that were there because the hand was shaking. So I thought that might not only fancy it up but cover up some of the misdemeanors as well. So anyway, Carol came back, as I said, and I'd got my I'd virtually done that bit, I think. And what I did also was the twisted wire I made into a jump ring, and I soldered it onto the back to, in fact, I'm going to show it to you. I've got it sitting here. So there's the twisted wire, and there's the jump ring. I just sold, because of time and everything else and conditions I was working under, well, half my stuff was still in my bag. But anyway, I didn't need much. If I get the opportunity to do it again, I hope I do, but I wouldn't be, you know, let's be honest, it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't invite me back to do it again, because I wasn't brilliant, I do have to say. So anyway, that's what I did. I set the bezel and I got that wire round, and then I put that on the back. So when Carol came back, they wanted to have a look at what I'd done. So Carol picked it up and said, "Oh, look, this is what," in fact, I think at this point she said, "Oh, while I've been away, Yvonne's been to the shop and bought this," which was quite amusing at the time. So she lifted that up, that you could still see, you know, the marks at solder leave, where you've put your bezel on and everything. So it was in its raw state. It was like that, with rough edges, and it had still, because I did take pickle. At least I took pickle, and the lovely floor manager there, she got me some hot water, and so I was able to use pickle. Although I had no polishing equipment there. I mean, there really wasn't time to do a whole thing completely from start to finish perfectly. I mean, it was never going to happen. All in all, I think I did the whole lot in about 2 hours. With interruptions and stuff, but anyway, as I say, Carol came back, picked it up, showed it to the camera, where I'd got it to, and then she looked over at my stone, and she said, "Oh, can I just borrow your stone as well, your cabochon?" Oh, I said, yes, and I passed it to her, and at this point, I could actually see what was going to happen. Because I'd explained that the stone is lower at this end, so I'd got to file away some of that bezel so that there was the same amount of bezel showing on the stone all the way around, etc. And I could actually see, it was like it was happening in slow motion. So Carol got the cabochon, and she sort of put it near to the bezel. And then she sort of pushed it in to see what it would look like. And you know that click? The click. Normally you're really pleased to hear that click. It went in beautifully. I mean, that was something. Somebody was looking down at me. It fitted. It was the right shape. Click. And then she turned around and she looked at me and she said, "Is that going to come out again?" Possibly not. Oh, she said, and she gave it back and off she went, and I got it back, and obviously it wasn't going to come back. It clicked, it was in, there was no way that was going to come out again. So what I did was I basically, I mean, I'm gonna put, my husband goes mad because I always point out the faults of everything, but when you've made it yourself, all you can see is the faults, and I'm sure you all have that problem or affliction. But the twisted wire isn't very close. In places it wasn't very close to the bezel, but anyway, I managed to get a presentable piece. The stone didn't come out again. I just finished it off with it all in, just got some wire wool and got the pickle stuff off and just give it a go. So anyway, that's what I ended up with. I'm not going to take it apart. I'm not going to take it apart. I'm going to leave it as a reminder of what my first demo piece on Jewellery Maker turned out as. That can be something I can compare with. If they do have me back, I'm not sure they will, but if they do have me back, I did learn a lot from that day and I can do better. So I'm going to keep that as a comparison, and hopefully they'll have me back and I'll have another go. But anyway, that's what I did. So that was my day. I used the mandrel, the wooden mandrel, and the twisted copper wire. I'll put some pictures of what I had. Were the acorns my cup of tea? I'm going to hold my hand up and say, no, I wouldn't have bought them. But they were what I was given to use, and they were what I used. And hopefully I made the most of them. And hopefully, I don't know how well they sold. I was so busy being nervous. I can't believe how nervous. At my ripe old age, what have I got to be worried about? And the thing is, I know I can do it. And that's the annoying thing. But hey ho, it is what it is. We got through it. I had a lovely day, despite everything. Everybody was so lovely to me, and I do enjoy going off. So anyway, that's it. That's what happened. I'll bob a few pictures in of things that I've got partly done. Oh, this is what it looked like actually. Let me show you this. I've put this here so I could show you. That's what it looked like on the TV. So actually it didn't look half bad because it's not a perfectly shaped bezel anyway, cabochon anyway. But that's what I did. That's how it turned out. But I did take a lot of nice cabochon pieces with me, and they were very kind to show those, and people were messaging in and asking to see them, and they were very complimentary about them. So given the fact that it was 2 hours and I was under pressure, let's say that, I managed to finish my project, and I managed to finish my challenge. So hey ho, that's the end of it. I wish you all a very, very happy new year, a healthy new year, and hopefully a prosperous one as well. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you soon.